Yes, Lord. Come on. Hey. Uh-huh. What it do? Line crew, it is your man, Tony the Tycoon, and it is so good to be back. You know what it is saying. We got to get this thing off right. It is telling me that you are now live. Welcome to Gridiron Gains. Welcome all are welcome. Man, so excited to have everybody here with me, man. We got an exciting guest getting ready to come up. As a matter of fact, he has jumped in right now. Let me make sure he can get on here. I got to invite him. Let me invite. All right. Always request to join. There we go. Right. Rose, you got the invite, brother. Just click that link and we're going to be ready to roll. And for everybody that is going to be watching today, you guys are in for a treat. I can promise you that.
Okay.
There he is. We got a little buffering going on. That's all right. We're going to make this thing happen.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Brother Rose? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Very blessed.
I hear you. I hear you. Let's see. I'm trying to see. It's buffering right now. The screen is black on my end. Let me
On
see.
my end as well.
All right. Let's see if it brings you in. And if not, then we're going to make it an audio. So it's all good. Listen, man, I appreciate you for jumping on, Rose, man. It's so interesting when I was doing my research on you, man. It's like you never know what legends you are walking around. And I'll come to find out some things about you, man, that I did not know. And I've known you for a while, man. So it's pretty cool to see. And we want to dive into that now, man. But Shreveport, Louisiana.
That's right.
Booker T. Washington High School.
Go Lion.
Come on now. What role did that early environment play in shaping your football aspirations?
Man, I had a lot of people pour into me. And I would always say I'll be doing them a disservice if I did not do well myself. And Booker T. Washington High School was a high school that a lot of professionals could not get into certain schools, so they started teaching at this particular high school. Booker T. Washington High School was the first black high school for all people of color in northern Louisiana. There's a lot of history with that school. So when I go there, and I went there, I just went there this past weekend to walk around, it's just a sense of pride. A sense of pride about the people who have served here, the sense of pride about who you are as a person yourself, man. Just that was great. That was a great beginning for me.
Man, absolutely. I think one of the things that you said that I thought was interesting, man, is you talked about it being the first as it pertains to, people of color. Can you describe what that was like growing up and being in, because segregation, those type of things were happening at that particular time. How did that adversity shape you, moving forward as you continue to climb through your football career? Because we can all learn things from our environment, whether it's a perceived good or bad, right? How did that aspect shape who you were as a person, as a man, and as an athlete?
I'll give you an example. I remember coming to school in the ninth grade, and they were already talking about graduating. They were already talking about college. That type of environment I was in. I got a plaque from the governor of Louisiana that says from the first grade to the 12th grade I never missed a day of school. And I'm so proud of that. And I was very hungry to go to school in high school because these are people who have overcome so much. So you can do that particular. These people, they were from the Southerns and the Grammars and the Howard Universities or whatever. They taught at this particular school. And there was a sense of pride going just being face to face with these teachers who's pouring so much into you. And I know these people overcame stuff you and I would never deal with today per se, but they had their experiences and they shared their experiences with you. That's when we got that sense of pride. And I'm here for a reason.
Man, absolutely. No, that's beautiful. I think one of the things that I think about, well, I don't think I know, one of the things that I think about is the people that have come before me that have had to go through, certain situations of adversity, to allow, us, the younger generation, to be able to have opportunities, and just as simple as being able to go to a major university. And
Right.
speaking about that, man, you uh, are a Horned Frog, TCU
Go
Horned
Frogs.
Frog, right? And
Right.
earned multiple, Southwest Conference honors, when you
Right.
concluded your college career, man. And you had some crazy stats: 271 tackles, 18
Mhm.
sacks. I mean, like, what factors contribute to, your standout performance on those years?
I used to always ask God to put people in my life to help move me. So when I got to TCU, I came in. I think I came in as a tight end. I probably was about 6'4", maybe 205 pounds, somewhere along there. And I came in. I met this guy named Steve Armstrong. He was a defensive coach. He put a lot of guys in the pros already. Coach Orman said, I want this young man to work with me. And the first time I messed up for Coach Orman, I remember he says, I don't know if I can say this on here, but he said, I'm going to send your ass back to the swamp. If you don't do what I ask you to do, right?
Yeah.
And he put that person in front of me who was like a second dad to me. This man, he put stuff out there for me that I never thought I could do. And I would accomplish all those things. And I thank God for some people in my life like that. Their expectations for you are very high, higher than your own expectations. They see who you are before you even see it yourself. And I love people in my life like that, especially somebody who's a hard coach, but they're very loving. They really care about you as a person. They want the best to happen to you as a person. Today's, I don't know if I can bring this in here, but I was listening to something this morning on ESPN. They was talking about this young man who didn't go where he's supposed to go in the draft.
Mm,
You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But they talked about the community. They talked about his father and the people that surround him. And at the same time, the young man said, this is happening for a reason. I understand God's in total control. Jeremiah 29:11.
Mm.
So the young man said, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. This is for a reason. That's how I always felt myself. You know.
Man, no, you're right. You're right. And now listen, we don't pull no punches on this show. You talking about Shador Sanders? Absolutely.
Exactly.
We gonna mention
Exactly.
the name because regardless of what you may feel about his bravado, and for everybody that's joining, man, appreciate you guys for joining. We are talking to TCU Hall of Famer Mr. Rose Collins, having some technical visual issues, but we're gonna turn it into an audio, so you guys are listening to a TCU great, and professional football athlete as well. But regardless of how you feel about Shador, regardless of how you feel about Dion, at the end of the day, it's a father that loves his son and wants to see his son in the best
Exactly.
position possible.
Exactly.
Regardless of how you feel about how he handled that situation, at the end of the day, that is the root of what it is that we see. And I don't think anybody, especially as a man that has children, can blame another father for wanting his child to be in the best situation that he can possibly be in. Shador has an opportunity. He was drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
There's no solidified quarterback in that space at this particular point in time, especially with Deshaun
Right.
Watson having the injury that he has. He might not even play this entire season. So
Yeah.
it's wide open, And so sometimes what I know to be true is that it's not always about the round as much as it's about the fit. And he has an
Right.
amazing opportunity to go in and silence some critics, if he so
Exactly.
chooses to take advantage of that. But in your case, man, you were inducted in the TCU Athletics Hall of Fame in 2015, man, and congratulations to you. That's a
Okay.
significant
Okay.
honor. Like, I had no clue, and this is why it's so important to know who you're around. Like, you and I have had, sat down and had laughs together, been at banquets
Right.
and all of these things, and lo and behold, I'm talking to a Hall of Famer.
Two times.
Um,
Two
that's a
time Hall of
significant
Fame.
honor, man. Can when you're reflecting on that, what does that recognition mean to you personally?
You know, I'll tell you from day one when I got to TCU, we used to practice indoors. Indoors, you run around this like about a half a mile, I guess. Around the half a mile track, and every picture of TCU Hall of Famers are all up on the wall. As I'm
Mm,
running around that wall, Tony, I never saw too many black people on that wall.
mm,
I was joking with my roommate at the time, Tony Dorsall, and I said, Tony, if you see, I'm gonna be on that wall one day. He said, yeah, yeah, whatever, bro. So 2015, they gave me a call. But in the meantime, I'm just focused on being myself, focused on doing what I do, which is pouring into other people, pouring into kids, pouring into boys. Mr. Jack Ossenbrock called me from TCU and said, Rosie, we know this is too late, but we want to put you in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And for me, it was how should I say, everything come full circle. You know, this place that poured into me, all of a sudden I'm going to be one of those people up on the wall. And those voices on that wall as I ran around that track, they never spoke to me as much as to say, you need to be on this wall one day. I don't know what it would require for a Hall of Famer to be on the wall, but I know it would require for me. So I need a lot of people in my life on my Hall of Fame. You know, I think of my mom and my dad and my uncles and aunties and coaches and pastors and people who are pouring into me. And so for that purpose and that purpose only, I want to be on that wall. I need to make sure I'm pouring to other people. And this past year, in 2025, I went to Louisiana Hall of Fame, then in Shreveport, Louisiana, by the way.
Wow, man, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations. And I think that's what it's all about. I don't think I know. That's what it's all about, man. It's about creating legacy. These are things that can never be taken away from you. These are the accomplishments of your hard work and effort. And you are able to carry those lessons, that you learned during those times and imparting those on these young kids that you deal with today. But before I jump into that, man, we were talking a little earlier about the whole Shedeur Sanders situation and
you.
being drafted. You know about that. In 1992, man, you were selected in the 6th round by the Miami Dolphins. Can you
Right.
share your memories about, draft day and joining the NFL?
Yeah. First of all, let me say something also, Tony, before I answer that question. I want to thank you, Tony, for what you do, man. I know you said our experiences are not for us. Our experiences are for other people. And I truly believe that, too. So I want to say thank you for saying that. I want to get my history on you as well. All right.
Oh, appreciate it, brother.
But that draft day was, I should have went in the second round. I was supposed to go in the second round. I
Mm,
played in the Senior Bowl at the time and hyperextended my knee. So a couple of bowl games I could not play in because of that. And because of the injury, I'm sitting there with my family and friends and people there in Shreveport, Louisiana, all at my parents' house. And that first day went by, and of course my name wasn't called. And the second day when everybody was there, family's still there. My name get called, and it was like I felt as though that phone call wasn't for me as much as that phone call was for them.
mm.
Because at the end of the day, I'm still a football player. But as you know, Tony, we take on so much responsibility of our family. We're so happy for our families when we get drafted. Because everybody's there for you, but you don't want them to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I think I heard one kid got drafted last week. He said, "This is for my family. All my hard work is for my family." He said, I did not want not to get drafted because I feel as though I would let them down. And I felt the same way. You know, when I got to Miami, I sat in the room with Dan Marino, Coach Don Shula,
Mm.
Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, Brian Cox, John Offerdahl, all these big time names are in the room, man. And I was just like, looked at them and I was like, I'm sitting in this room. So I'll tell you guys, whoever listens to this podcast, I wasn't sitting in the room by myself. I was sitting in the
Yeah.
room with all those people who have poured into me. And because of that, I feel as though I wasn't going to let them down. They bring in 16 guys for 2 spots.
Wow,
And I was like,
man.
why did they bring in 16 linebackers for 2 spots? I'm like, damn, man, what the hell? So I told my mom, my dad, like this. I told my mom and my dad this. I was dealing with anxiety at the time. I'm like, what the hell? Why did they bring me here? Why did they draft me? Like, my mother put everything in perspective for me. She says, baby, they're bringing 16 linebackers for 1 spot because one of those spots are yours.
Mm.
Like, wow. She had a different way of
Perspective,
looking at it. So
man.
when
I'm
she
telling
said
you,
that,
it's
I was like, shit,
powerful.
I'm king.
Man, shout out to Mama Collins with that. That's a bar. Listen, they brought in 16 linebackers for 1 spot.
But
I'm telling you, perspective is a superpower, man.
it is, man. It really is.
Well, I know you know this, Rose. I mean, listen, the game comes to an end for all of us, whether it's, you got to play 2 seasons or 20 seasons like Tom Brady. At the end of the day, one of the things that this show focuses on is about the transitional aspect from leaving
Yeah,
the game and going into what we deem as the real world. Because
right.
like I know, man, in the sports space, man, that is not the real world.
It's not the real world, Doc. It's really
Right.
not.
And so, but you had an opportunity to, to transition from that sport.
Yeah.
And I know that can be challenging. How did you navigate life after football, and what led you to focus on the youth mentorship that you do now?
Well, Tony, I'm gonna tell you my whole story real quick. So,
Absolutely.
so my roommate was a criminal justice major. I was not. I was a communications major. My roommate told me my professor wants to meet you. I go over and meet my roommate's professor. He's a criminal justice professor. I did not know the professor was also the assistant director of juvenile services in Fort Worth, Texas at the time.
Mm,
And so for the next 3 years, my parents didn't come to all the games. So I would give my tickets to him and his family, for outside games. So you fast forward a few years, I'm about to retire from the NFL. And my roommate goes and calls the professor and tells him, Mr. Wood, I don't think of his name because he passed on. Mr. Wood, Rosie's about to retire. Mr. Wood said, tell Rosie to give me a call. So I called Mr. Wood, who at the time I did not know he was assistant director of juvenile services.
yeah.
So I called him and he said, Rosie, you still working with kids? I said, yes, I am. I'm working with kids here in Miami at the Joe DiMaggio Hospital. He said, well, come see me. So I came to see Mr. Wood on a Tuesday. I was working for juvenile services on a Thursday. And I worked there, Tony, for 24 years and 7 months.
Wow.
And all those people, man, poured into me. It taught me that there's no such thing as a bad child. This child makes bad decisions based on how they was raised.
Mm,
So that made me look at kids differently. It made me the juvenile pay for my two master's degrees and start working on my doctorate degree. And so from that perspective, I really enjoy what I did. I enjoy what I do to this day. I became the behavior interventionist for Tarrant County Juvenile Services, which means I train people on how to deal with people who are out of control. And because of that, I told you guys 24 years and 7 months. The reason I say that, I was trying to stay along with juvenile for 25 years, but unfortunately, I got hit by a car on my bike. I was riding a bicycle a couple years ago. I got hit by a bike. I mean, hit by a car. I was in a coma, Tony, for 5 days in a coma. They didn't think I was going to make it. Byron Williams, NFL alumni president, and several other guys came to my room, Tony, at the hospital. They told my wife at the time that he's not, we don't know what we can do for him right now. Keep the lights down low, everybody be quiet. She said that Byron and other guys surrounded my bed, Tony, and they started praying.
mm,
When that fifth night, they said, she said, your eyes just open. And they was praying, your eyes just open, and you just looked at everybody.
wow.
I would say this, Tony, nobody gets nowhere without the help of somebody somewhere. And my cousin told me, his name was Robert, Rob said, Rose, because you served those families in Tarrant County for 24 years and 7 months, he said, what you did for those families in Fort Worth, that God getting ready to do all over the United States. And ever since then, Tony, I've been talking in, Oregon and Florida, and you name the places I've been there. And I'm talking to teachers, I'm talking to juvenile service officers, I'm talking to sheriff departments about how to deal with people who are out of control. So I think that experience I learned in juvenile, and now God has spread it all over the United States. And so I'm just so grateful, I'm so thankful, you know, um, for my experiences. And I can tell you this one thing also, Mr. Jerry Wood never asked me for a kind of application. It was something he saw in me that I didn't see in myself again, that you're made for somebody that's not made for yourself. He once told me that. And ever since that, that's why I look at life, I'm here to serve. I just serve. That's what I do.
Man, it reminds me of the scripture when it says that, when you fed the hungry, when you clothed those that had no clothing, when you gave water to those that were thirsty, you did that unto me. When Christ was talking to the disciples, man, and you've dedicated your life to servitude, and all of those deposits that you made into these young people.
Mhm.
And when it came time, for your opportunity, and people to make a deposit in you, they did that through prayer based off of the
So,
incident you went through, that being hit by that bike. I truly believe that those seeds you deposited into the people of God, he rewarded you for that. And that's,
So,
now I understand you a little bit more, brother, why you always got a smile on your face, man. And you don't take things too seriously, man, because
no,
I can only imagine when you've been through something like that, it puts a lot of things into perspective.
no, just the
Rose, man,
same.
you've been so gracious with your time. I wanna end it with this. What is some advice that you can give to young athletes that are looking to move on to the next level, whatever that level is for them, whether it's high school going to college or college, wanting to get to the NFL? What are some words of advice that you can leave for these young people as a Hall of Famer, as a professional athlete, and even now as a mentor of over 30 plus years now, right? With
Mhm.
dealing with young boys and all different types of, or young people in all different aspects of life. What are your parting words for those individuals?
Some of my parting words are I tell my daughter, who's a senior this year, take advantage of every single day.
Mm,
Take advantage of every single day. Put the work in. Do the work that people do not see. If you want to be better than average, you should be doing stuff behind closed doors. I don't care if it's your studies. I don't care if you're on the basketball court, on the football field, no matter what. You want to be average, just do what they do. You'll be average. You want, as you know, Tony, if you want to be better, you got to do stuff that when they are going out to the club, you going to the gym.
mm-hmm.
When they on social media, you in your book because you see yourself not at 18, not at 19, you see yourself at 30, 35, 40. Have the vision to see things down the road. As old people say, this person has an old soul. They've been here before because they've seen certain things. They're in a place that they want to be one day. They're in a place now that they want to be one day, which means they're thinking as though I'm 18, but I'm thinking as though I'm 25.
Yeah.
One of the best things I ever heard, I'm gonna say this also, was that my wife my wife said that when she went to Howard University, it was a different type of mindset. They told them when she came in, she said, "You are not here to graduate. You are here to go to grad school." I was like,
Mm,
wow.
mm. Yeah.
That puts everything. Hey, look at you. That put everything in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listen, that's the bare minimum. We expect that.
We respect
You
that.
know, we,
You
we've
know.
elevated expectations for you when you come to this university. That is absolutely. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, I want to be respectful of your time, man. I know you're on the
Okay.
job, brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I know people are going to learn from this, and I've been blessed from it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Well,
Take care.
listen, take care, brother.
Uh,
So as Rose gets ready to exit off, man, man, that was, to me, that was so enlightening, man. And I want you guys to understand, well, before I get into my final thoughts, I'll say this. I was listening to Myron Golden, what's a guy that I admire as it pertains to his wisdom and the things that he does. And one of the things that he says is that intention always, disruptions always follows intention, right? And so when we jumped on today, man, my intention was to have Mr. Collins on here, give some insight, which he did, right? And I'm thinking, boom, we're gonna flow like we've been flowing with every other episode. But today, live stream decided, you know what, we're not gonna show the face, we're gonna make a black screen. Well, guess what? I decided that I'm not going to let a back screen and a circular, motion stop this interview, because I know that the person that I'm interviewing has so much wisdom to impart on young people. And because we were able to continue to persevere, you guys were able to hear that. So I, I encourage everybody to go back and take a listen to what Mr. Collins said. Like, you need to understand that this man has been a staple in the Dallas community for over 2 decades. You need to understand that this man played at a high professional level with Hall of Famers, with the Miami Dolphins, right? The Dan Marinos of the world, the Don Shulas, he was a part of that group. You need to understand that this man is a collegiate Hall of Famer. There are a lot, and now he's been inducted into the Shreveport Hall of Fame. There's a lot of accolades that comes with the work that this individual has done. And if you would allow yourself to not be distracted by the distraction that being this circular motion and this black screen, and actually allow yourself to hear the information that was being given, I know for a fact your life is going to transform and you will be blessed. That's what we do this. We want everybody that is ever watching these programs, and specifically the athletes, right? This is a show by an athlete for athletes, but it can be learned from anybody. We want these guys to be able to take on these lessons, dissect them, digest them, learn from them, and then distribute it to other people as they continue to grow, man. So that is our show for today. That's the time. I told you we're going to do a quick one, man. But I'm juiced. I'm juiced off of that information. As y'all can see, I can't stop smiling. This was a great episode. This is probably one of my favorites, just because of all the stuff that's been happening, and we still were able to get the content going. So, with that being said, always remember, athletes, that the sport is not who you are; it's what you do. And when you align with the divine, everything will be fine. It is your man, Tony the Tycoon. Run well, young lions. I'm out.